Good evening and thank you for joining us for KREM 2 News at 11 tonight. Let's get started. We are tracking some breaking news at this hour. Fire crews on the scene of a fire in Airway Heights. It was first reported at around 8:45 tonight off Highway 2 near South Lawson and Campbell Streets. KREM 2's Kyle Simchuk at the scene tonight with the very latest.
The fire department says this building is a total loss. Even though they were on scene within 2 minutes, we saw smoke and flames pouring out of the building for well over an hour. According to Fire District 10, this building was once a motel that transformed into apartment units. However, it's been abandoned for the last 3 to 4 months, but officials say it's a known squatter location. When the fire department arrived, they did a quick sweep of the building but didn't find anyone. The roof collapsed and they plan to go back in once it's safe. Their first priority was protecting several businesses next door. There's a game store and a Domino's. Those stores were not damaged. The fire department also had to close off Highway 2 at Campbell Road, so traffic was diverted. The cause of the fire is now under investigation. No firefighters were injured. In Airway Heights, Kyle Simchuk, KREM 2 News.
All right, let's get straight to weather now because we have yet another freeze warning in effect overnight. Let's get outside right now to meteorologist Jeremy Legoo. Jeremy, today was actually pretty warm. We saw the sunshine, but what's in store for tomorrow morning?
Yeah, it's going to be another chilly one tomorrow morning. Get this, temperatures dropping already just in the past hour. A 2-degree drop here in Spokane. That 2-degree drop is the trend we are going to see throughout the night. And by tomorrow morning, these will all be in the 30s. 42 in Coeur d'Alene right now, 37 in Sandpoint, and upper 40s out in central Washington. But those freeze warnings are once again in effect. They're already taking place and they'll run through 8 a.m. tomorrow as temperatures will now fall below freezing. That's cold enough to damage crops and some of those sensitive plants. If you can, pull them inside and don't forget to bundle up tomorrow morning with lows dipping into the 30s. Right now, getting rid of some of the moisture in the atmosphere, a little bit of radar feedback, but we'll continue to clear things out. And by tomorrow, it is sunshine across much of the inland northwest, but notice it. It's cloud cover building Wednesday night after dark, and by Thursday, it's a cloudy day with a cold front advancing across the region. That's going to bring some heavy needed rain to much of the area and even a little bit of mountain snow. That's true. As we move through the next, say, 12 hours, temps do fall into the 30s, but look at how quickly we rise. By noon, we're warmer than we were today. It is going to be that kind of beautiful. We will see a little bit of cloud cover in the afternoon, but all in all, it's looking like a mostly sunny and mild day. We go from near freezing tomorrow morning to up in the 60s, pretty widespread across the region. Even North Idaho finds itself in the upper 50s.
All right, Jeremy, thank you very much. Well, tonight until 5 a.m., one lane of I-90 will be closed between the Washington State line and Sherman Avenue in Coeur d'Alene. Here is the latest look at the construction tonight. These nightly closures are from 7 p.m. until 5 a.m. They'll take place over the next 2 months, so crews can collect data for a study on widening the interstate. According to our news partners, the Coeur d'Alene Press, only one lane in one direction will be closed at a time. Crews will focus on the section between Spokane Street and Northwest Boulevard. Drivers are asked to be aware of the closures, of course, slow down and then move to the open lane at the time. Now to our night beat with a quick look at the day's top stories. Before you know it, we will be back in wildfire season, but you can already start taking steps right now to protect your home and your community from wildfires.
Every single home in Washington State and Spokane County can take action right now today to get ready for this fire season and the next fire season.
Today marks the return of the Wildfire Ready Neighbors program through the Washington Department of Natural Resources. The program gives homeowners, renters, and small forest landowners the resources and tools to protect themselves from wildfires. Last year, Spokane was the third county to launch this proactive program. During the 6-week pilot, nearly 700 Spokane residents signed up. Now in its second year, the program is building on that momentum by expanding to other high-risk communities in Spokane. So to join Wildfire Ready Neighbors and get a free customized plan, community members just text us the word READY to 509-448-2000.
349 of these officers that each have a story. We need to honor them and never forget and always remember and support the families because they have to live with the loss.
A special memorial service happened earlier today to honor fallen peace officers across Washington State. The ceremony started at 11:30 this morning and honored 349 officers who were killed in the line of duty, along with 26 canine officers. 6 additional officers were honored today in the ceremony. They all passed away last year. A week after the leak of the Supreme Court draft opinion that shows conservative justices are poised to overturn Roe v. Wade, Janice McGeachin is making headlines for what she's advocating for. McGeachin is the lieutenant governor of Idaho who's running for governor now. She is calling on the state to remove the 3 exceptions to Idaho's current trigger law banning abortion. And this means, should Roe v. Wade be overturned, exceptions to the abortion ban for instances of rape, incest, or to save the life of the mother would no longer be legal. McGeachin said she wants to make Idaho a state where she says life is fully and unconditionally protected. That call drew immediate objections from both sides of the debate. Abortion rights supporters calling it unthinkable, and those against abortion saying Idaho already has one of the strongest anti-abortion laws in the entire nation. And that was your Night Beat. To learn more about any of these stories, just text us the word night to 509-448-2000 and we'll send them directly to your phone. Looking ahead to this weekend, as Roe v. Wade could soon be overturned by the Supreme Court, Kootenai County holding their 3rd annual Women's March this Saturday. That march set to take place at 11 a.m. on the corner of 19th Street and Sherman Avenue. The group will then march toward McEwen Park. The event also coincides with the National Women's March. And coming up in about 15 minutes, we'll look into the impact of overturning the landmark ruling locally and other marches taking place across the inland Northwest. In your national news tonight, President Joe Biden says his administration is tackling inflation to help lower costs for American families. The president blamed the pandemic and Vladimir Putin's war in Ukraine for soaring inflation as Americans take yet another hit at the pump. President Biden announced no new policies, but touted actions like the release of oil from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve. Inflation quickly becoming a top issue heading into the November midterm elections, and some economists warn even if prices subside, there could be long-term effects. Meanwhile, baby formula has been one of the many items in short supply during the pandemic, but just recently the problem has become much worse. Shelves across the country are empty, and many stores are now putting limits on how much customers can buy at once. According to Data Assembly, 40% of baby formula products were out of stock during the week of April 25th, and that's up from just 11% at the end of November. Supplies were hit hard in February when Abbott Nutrition recalled certain batches of formula because brands they reported infants were getting sick. Manufacturers are ramping up production, but right now it's not clear when the shortages will ease. Looking at news around the Northwest now, 50 dams in the state of Washington are classified as high hazard and in poor condition. That's according to an investigation by the Associated Press. A high hazard dam is considered likely to result in the loss of at least one human life if it were to fail. Dams are also assessed by their conditions. A dam is unsatisfactory if it has safety deficiencies that require immediate action. Of Washington's 50 high hazard dams, Yakima County has the most with 7. In other Northwest news right now, the CDC now investigating a recent outbreak of COVID cases aboard a Carnival cruise ship that docked in Seattle. The ship arrived May 3rd following a 2-week trip to the Panama Canal. It's one of the 62 ships given the orange status by the CDC, and that means 0.03% or more of the total people on board tested positive for COVID. All right, don't go to bed just yet. As part of our Boomtown Week, guest speakers from San Diego today discussed homelessness here in Spokane. We'll share what solutions they offered coming up next. And KREM 2's Boomtown Week continues all week long. And tomorrow we turn our attention to a big reason why so many people are drawn to the inland Northwest, for its access to the outdoors. The local mountain biking scene was already growing prior to the pandemic, but when COVID hit, interest in the sport skyrocketed. As people search for anything to do outdoors, demand for bikes soared. In fact, market research company NPD Group found that a year after the pandemic hit, overall bike sales were up nearly 54% compared to March of 2020 and a whopping 140% over March of 2019. The president of the Evergreen Mountain Bike Alliance's East Chapter and the co-owner of Bike Hub both tell me Spokane is quickly becoming a destination for riders from across the state and beyond.
I definitely think it'll continue to grow, and I think we're becoming more of a destination spot for people. A lot of people from the west side are coming over here to bike now.
Bellingham's kind of the mecca for, I think, the Northwest right now, but really for bike community, trail access, and just good vibe, I think we're probably number 2 on that now.
I'll examine the sport's growth in the Northwest and what that means in my Boomtown report coming up tomorrow on KREM 2 News at 6. In the meantime, we'll take a quick break and be back in 90 seconds.